Good morning, or actually, good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, April 14th, 2024. We just came off an ugly week. Dropped about 100 points on the S&P, and it felt like, to be very blunt, a lot more than that. However, we were overpriced. We were ahead of ourselves. This interest rate speculation has gotten out of control. Finally, in my opinion, people are realizing that inflation is nowhere near what the government initially said it was, nowhere near what it needs to be, and may not even be going in the right direction. Interest rates crept up last week, never a good sign to fight inflation. Then on Friday, we really had an ugly sell-off, the S&P dropping 75 points. So heading into next week, the good news is that the markets appear to have been stabilizing over the weekend, which is a great relief because as we know, Iran attacked Israel with several missiles. However, Israel and the U.S. came and had drones that literally intercepted the missiles in the midair. It really, if it wasn't real, it would be cool. Meaning, if it was a video game, it would have been cool to watch. But as he watched it, I found myself horrified at the state of the world affairs right now, and I was very concerned about what the market was going to do. However, because they literally successfully blocked, as far as I know, essentially every missile that was sent, it did not crash the futures so far. So heading into tomorrow, what's going on? Well, the banks have started earnings. We've gotten into earnings season. Um, there's no real big economic news this week. We have the retail sales numbers tomorrow, but after that, nothing is a red flag. However, a couple of the Fed members speak, and we know that sometimes those guys have really been moving the markets. So we need to be careful of that. We do get into some more earnings tomorrow before the market opens. The granddaddy of them all in the banking sector, Goldman Sachs, announces, and then we also have Morgan Stanley later in the week. But we also get into Johnson and Johnson announcing, um, ISRG, the surgical company, American Express, and then we get into one of our favorite stocks ever, Netflix. Now, my original thought was that the market was going to really accelerate on earnings this quarter because I've been studying it for the last 6 months, and it seems like the earnings plays have really benefited more often than not, moving higher on their earnings announcements. However, with this interest rate nightmare, because we've gone from some people saying several cuts this year, then most people were saying 3 cuts minimum, and then it was 3 cuts. Now I'm hearing 2 cuts, 1 cut. Some people think we're not even going to get an interest rate cut. If we don't, in my opinion, the market will run out of steam at some point. If we don't do something to combat this inflation, the market will run out of steam. But instead, we're forgiving more student loans. There is no such thing as a forgiveness of a student loan. What that really means is the taxpayers are paying, which is another ingredient for inflation. Therefore, I don't see how interest rates are going to come down anytime soon unless something changes. I am very excited about earnings. I'm really hopeful that Goldman comes in strong and makes the market pop tomorrow. The NASDAQ futures are pretty strong. Cryptos are struggling. Bitcoin really went down. It's coming back up, but it really went down. Just like gold really went up, hit an all-time high and came down. So the markets are more confused right now than I believe I've seen them in several months. So that takes some optimism off the table going into earnings weeks. Okay. We are just starting earnings season. Over the next month, there's going to be a ton of opportunity. Hopefully, it will remain bullish opportunity because bullish opportunity is a lot easier to play than bearish opportunity. Bearish opportunity often provides bigger pops, quicker pops, but what's the object of the game? Object of the market is to go higher. So I'm hopeful that that's what we see. But be very careful. It will all start to fold out tomorrow morning, Monday morning, with Goldman Sachs earnings announcements. If those come in good, Let's hope for the best. If the war situation in the Middle East does not get worse, let's hope for the best. Always reasons to hope for the best, but be careful and prepare for the worst. All right, guys, be very careful this week. Not a lot of economic news. Therefore, we are going to be market driven, earnings driven, and world event driven. So be careful. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.